Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming out this evening. It is very, very important that not only we dwell together, but we also acknowledge the greatness in our own communities. You know, it's a very hard person to follow, Pastor Rail, but hopefully we can keep this going. So I have had the pleasure of chairing the scholarship committee for the past 2 years. This will be the third year. And I have had the opportunity to read some of the most outstanding works that our young people possibly could generate. We've had scholarship winners in the past, but now we've had an essay contest that our district and international has put on, with the topic being, with politics gaining the bulk of discussion, what can the younger generation do to ensure that elected leaders understand the impact of gaining their vote? So this chapter had over 20 plus submissions. And that is, as you well know, a very, very large number. But one submission stood out dramatically. This young person, young lady, I'm not gonna do that. This young lady is a senior at Creek Monee High School. She is very, very active. I had a chance to sit with her this evening and find out more about her, because you see people's works and you just kind of envision the person. And I will sit here and say and testify to you today that she is even more outstanding than her works on paper.
All right. Amen.
So this young lady, she wants to be in media, television, acting, or all aspects of that. And as you well know, in this brotherhood, our friendships lend itself to relationships. So we want to also extend those arms to those that work through us and we recognize as our future leaders. So she volunteers in media at her church. She does all of the video productions right now as a high school senior. And it's a large church, very large. And she's doing a lot in the school. She's in honors classes. So she is a very, very well-rounded student. I would like to take this time to introduce you to the Rho Gamma Gamma Achievement Week Essay Contest winner, Trinity Watts.
All right.
So, thank you for that rousing applause, but I want you all to have the opportunity to hear what I was so blessed to read. So I'm gonna give Trinity the mic, and she can read the essay to you, the winning essay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. McGraw. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. I'm so blessed, and I've been graced to find out about this opportunity, and I jumped right on it. So I'm so excited that I'm able to be here today with you all. My essay is How Younger Generations Can Emphasize the Power of Their Votes. As of 2023, the younger generation eligible to vote is most technically advanced and influential in comparison to the generations before. The current generation has unlimited access and compatible minds to handle social media. Therefore, political leaders would benefit from receiving the votes of the younger generation because of how much access they have to influence others through social media. To ensure political leaders grasp the connection between gaining a voter of the younger generation and the heavy impact their votes have, younger generations, specifically Gen Z, must collaboratively display the power they hold in our society. by participating more in local, national, and even global events, building stronger positive voices on social media, and most of all, becoming registered voters the moment they reach the age of eligibility. To begin, Gen Z and the upcoming generation should participate in more local and national events. Some programs, clubs, and organizations that bring recognition to youth and give the youth a voice would not only be beneficial to boosting numbers of involved youth across the U.S., but also educate younger generations on important matters that affect our nation. Programs such as National Honor Society, Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts of USA, and National Youth Leadership Council are all programs that younger generations should involve themselves in to build their leadership voice and their political scope of the world. Building a strong generation that equips youth to have an educated voice will strengthen the overall impact the younger generation has on our society. Showing political leaders how weighted the voices and opinions of the young generation are. To continue, building strong positive voices on social media will display the worth of the young generation's perspectives and votes for the political leaders. Social media can be a hindrance if utilized the wrong way. According to Pew Research, 95% of teens have access to a smartphone, and 45% say they are online constantly. Currently, people use social media to spread negative opinions, false information, gossip, and propaganda to influence political elections. The young generation must utilize the concept of social media wisely to make meaningful impacts, appropriately vocalize themselves, and build community. Sharing true information to educate and influence more young voters to participate and create their voices on social media. Sharing hopes, wishes, and the impacts political leaders have on their lives, etc., will bring positive attention to voters of the younger generation. Political leaders elected to their positions should have the goal of enhancing the lives of the younger generation that follows. If the young generation collaboratively utilizes social media to represent how their lives are impacted by these leaders, the worth of their vote in political leaders' eyes will increase. Finally, the main way to ensure political leaders understand the impact of the votes from younger generations is simply to vote. According to journalist Carmen Ain, Generation Z holds the lowest political power, with only 8% of voter distributions amongst all generations in recent studies from the past election. About 24.8% of eligible Gen Z voters participated in the last election, according to Circle, a Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement. Political leaders will find no value in gaining the votes of the younger generations if they know their minimum participation in political if they know that there is minimum participation in political elections. One main reason younger generations do not vote is because they are simply not educated enough on candidates and the needs of our society. To resolve this hindrance, younger generations should invest in doing some research in their free time, to investigate candidates and learn more about how they can meet the needs of our society. Schools should continue to promote voting awareness and current day events to ensure younger generations are updated and ready to vote when the time comes. An increase in the number of younger generation voters will stand out to political leaders, which may cause them to adjust their message to an audience that is young and participating in elections. In conclusion, younger generations must display their power in our society by participating more in local, national, and even global events and programs, building stronger voices and communities on social media, and most of all, increasing the number of younger generation voters.
All
Thank you.
right.